Oh,
Weird.
your shirt came. Ah, that looks good. That's clean looking.
That's right.
I like it. Mine didn't come yet.
Oh, really?
Sort of a bummer. Yeah.
You got to complain to management, I guess. Did you get the explicit or the clean version?
I got the explicit. I should have gotten both because I can't wear the explicit one to work. I had a guy once, Peter Kleiner. He was the general manager of WYSP. And what should the headline be? Abby asked me, what should the headline of the pod be? Cry about it.
Fitting.
Sixers up 2-0 on Raptors. What was I going to say? Oh, this guy, Peter Kleiner, who's the general manager of the radio station. I was probably like 25 or something. And I wore some metal t-shirt that had the F word on the back. And he unironically walked up to me with duct tape and put the duct tape over the curse words on the back of the t-shirt.
It's a power move.
Yep. Shout out Peter Kleiner. By the way, the DraftKings same game parlay hit again.
That's right. We're getting that much closer to becoming like a financial institution.
Yeah.
just giving out free money. Come on.
And this one was plus 400 or plus 450, depending on when you got it, too. So I hope everybody got the DraftKings.
Came down to the Embiid points, right?
Yeah. And when they took the timeout at 4 minutes left, when they were up 16 and Embiid looked like out of gas, I thought he was coming out of the game. I can't believe he stayed in the game.
Yeah. Where do you think that guy is now? Your old boss?
He actually, I worked with him at WIP for a bit. He came back in like a different role. I think he's doing fine, I'm sure. Peter Kleiner. I think somebody was actually with him recently and he says hello or something. So I knew him as a grown-up and as a shitty young kid, whatever I was.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised you're not wearing, first of all, well, I'm not going to do the show before the show because
is this part of the show though?
The dancing thing? Yeah, because there's a discovery that happened in it.
Oh yeah, that was news to me as well.
Are you doing the show from your childhood bedroom?
No, my nephew's bedroom.
Oh, okay. It would have been better if it was your childhood bedroom.
Austin.
Oh yeah, there it is.
It's a nice room.
It's a great room. A lot of baseball memorabilia here.
Dartboard in the back.
Just got some NFL helmets here. That's cool. Chase Utley right over there.
I think the bat hat / sweatshirt hanger is like a staple in every, like right behind your head. There's a baseball bat hanger.
Yeah. Absolutely. That really sets the era and the kind of kid my nephew is for sure.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to start the show because there's a discovery made. Did you see that? You know the discovery I'm talking about, CJ, right?
I do, yeah.
About who's in the video?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's huge. So, very big, very big. I just have it ready, is all I'm saying. Have the video ready.
Oh, you want me to? Am I playing the video?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is just the CJ show now.
Yeah.
Sixers go up 2-0 in the playoffs. And
Who are the
doing
Sixers?
40 minutes on friggin' producer CJ.
He's backup QB. Everybody loves him. Everybody wants him to start.
Yeah, CJ Feely.
Yep. Good. CJ Detmer. All right. Here we go. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. By the way, we have the Ricky Same Game Parlay, which is now 2-0. It hit tonight as Embiid got his 30 and 31st points. I think it was like plus 425 tonight. So we'll do those for every game. Nice. And it's brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process. Call or text him at 302-864-8643. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And Kinetic Skateboarding. Get 9.1% off your first order with promo code Dave Silver. On the show today, the Sixers take the Raptors punch to the mouth in the beginning and then out free throw shoot them about 600-1 as Nick Nurse cries on the sidelines. We discover an old video of CJ dancing with a secret admirer, a known secret admirer that we found out later watching in the background. And I think that's about it. I mentioned Kinetic Skateboarding. They do these raffles for these shoes that you can't get anywhere else. And every time I see them on Instagram, I want to go and do one of the raffles. But then I realize I can't. I don't have the time. Maybe Ben would put in for me. They had these SB dunks on the Instagram this week that were sweet. Shoes you can't get anywhere else. Great gear for the spring and for the summer. And of course, your skateboard hookup. KineticSkateboarding.com. Use promo code Dave Silver for 9.1% off your first order. And finally, from Andrew. Hey, Spike and Mike, my friend Sayatan is getting married. He's marrying his best friend Aisha on April 23rd. The wedding has been rescheduled several times due to COVID, and now, of course, it lands on Game 4 of Sixers-Raptors. It would be awesome if you could give them a wedding shout-out. The wedding is in Philadelphia, and many attending are Sixers fans. Shout out to Sayatan and Aisha. Congratulations on finally getting married. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy that's going to take his winnings from the DraftKings same game parlay and buy a James Harden NFT, now available in the app. That is one, Mike Levin.
Wow. For the eagle-eyed YouTube viewers, hopefully they saw that Mike Muscala is now in the intro video.
Per your request.
For my request. We had to get him in there. It needs to be immortalized until we hang the banner. Great. It looked great. Thank you, CJ, for putting him in there.
People are saying in the chat, Muscala alert, Muscala alert. So
absolutely.
The YouTube viewers noticed it.
Unbelievable. That was cool. That was really cool.
The Danny Green dunk, man. The Danny Green dunk.
We'll talk about the whole thing, but like you said in the intro, the Sixers took the Raptors punch and hung in there for a little bit and then pulled away. And that is not a thing that the Sixers normally do.
No,
they're not take a punch from somebody and get a steamroll type of thing. That Van Vliet hit I think 4 threes in the first quarter, didn't hit another one the rest of the game.
Yep.
And they were hitting a ton of shots, couple weird shots. Anunoby hit a couple big ones. Siakam got hot, and the Sixers just hung in there and stemmed the tide. And I think it was telegraphed from what Nick Nurse was saying in the media and stuff. They were more physical than us. We got pushed around. He was complaining to the officials, blah blah blah, and it was very clear that they wanted to tire the Sixers out. But they have way less depth and way less juice without Scotty Barnes, which is a shame because he's a really good player. I like seeing him. You don't want to see guys get injured. But what happened? They ended up just tiring themselves out. You could tell in the second quarter and third quarter, they were just spent, and they were trying to draw offensive fouls and they didn't have it. And they were drifting the whole time. It was just it's got to be, the physicality was way higher off the bat. Siakam tackles Embiid, and they just locked up defensively. Even the Raptors buckets were for a lot of the game were off of weird air balls or long caroms that got there. I thought the defense was really, really great outside of George Niang. I thought the team played really, really well. And we could talk about guys individually, but Embiid 19 points in the first quarter after having 19 in the first game. It was just I was worried about the team not bringing the intensity game too, especially with Scotty out. And until the halfway point of the fourth quarter, they were as intense as we've seen them. So
yeah,
hell of a win.
I actually think that the Raptors' physicality sort of woke the Sixers up. It's definitely this is cliche, but it's it's gut check time when it happens, when the other team's hitting threes in your face and then knocking your best player on his ass. And I don't know. I think they took it, and it sort of woke the crowd up a little bit too, I thought, when the Raptors started doing that. And I give them credit for trying it, but it did not work. And, to your point about the Raptors sort of getting worn out, they're not deep enough to do that. And they're also like not particularly big, and the Sixers are not fast, but they're big. So to try pushing them around like that, I think takes something out of you. And Van Vliet's not right physically either. So I thought that I agree with you. It was a really, really good win for the Raptors to come out 11-2, come out with an 11-2 lead and come out physical and with energy. And the Sixers in a place where they would oftentimes sort of like pout and fall apart. They did not, and it was great. I thought it was
man.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah,
Embiid kicks ass. It was just like watching him just like pummeling them with size and physicality, getting guys in foul trouble, pissing them off. It was nice to see. I think a lot of times we've complained about them, like, man, they got to let Embiid repost, and especially against a team against the Raptors who are sending doubles so hard. If he passes out of that double team, give him the ball back, because they don't want to like redouble again in the same possession. That's really hard to do. It's really taxing on your energy. And I think they did that a couple times, and that was cool. It's got to be so demoralizing when you like get an Embiid stop and then he's just like, oh, I'm still 7'2" and I'm right here for the rebound, and just scores an N1. He's the best. I was a little bit worried. He had the ankle injury in the middle, and like Harden fell on him. That's just going to happen.
Arm and the shin and the ankle.
I will say, like, Embiid has been for the last couple of years saying like, stop worrying about me. Like, I'm fine. Don't be scared every time I fall down. And honestly, the last few months I have not worried about it. And there were people on Twitter being like concerned, which I get, but I'm just like, until he's actually hurt, I'm just like going to be like, he's going to power through and work through it, and he'll be fine.
And also, he's a bit dramatic. Like,
oh yeah,
he likes that stuff.
So's Maxey, by the way. Like when he went down, It looked like, I'm like, oh, the first time it happened, it was like, I forget what game it was, and then they made him laugh as he was going back to the huddle. But it was like, oh, he's concussed, and he'll be concussed forever. Like that's how bad it looked. Like his body, he was like just like flailing around, and then he just was fine and immediately had a big bucket. But with Embiid, like I thought he was a little bit sloppier. I don't think his passes were quite as good. I think he like didn't have his footing for a little bit, and then the ankle made that worse. I was concerned that he hadn't hit a jump shot all series or the first game and a half. And then
he had a couple
the
big
spin
ones.
baseline over two defenders, and then he had the LeBron fadeaway three in the corner. He's just an impossible cover, man. He just really is. And I loved the Harden lob to Embiid out of half. I thought that was great. Embiid really set the tone in this one, and I thought Doc coached a good game. And it feels very good to be 2-0, handle business going home, and just like emphatically on both occasions, even though there was, a couple things to be concerned about in this one.
I have a message for Raptors fans, like a very serious message. Right after I talk about Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, I got a great text message today. So one time years ago, I posted a picture of my dog, and accidentally his tag was flipped around and my number was showing. And these 5 listeners got my phone number, and they've texted me ever since. They're always sort of respectful about it. But one of them texted me today, "Hey, Spike, just wanted to share my experience with a Ricky sponsor. I'm a first-time home buyer. I reached out to Adam Ksebe for help. Despite the fact that I'm buying in Nashville, Adam still took the time to email me back, went back and forth with me, and was extremely helpful in the process. Just a seriously good dude that loves the Sixers. Hope New Jersey is treating you well, man. Go Sixers." So that is Adam Ksebe. If you need to buy a house, buying a house right now is fucking nuts. My neighbors just put their house up for sale, was sold in 2 days, almost $100,000 over asking. Is fucking crazy right now. You need a realtor who knows what he's doing. Adam Ksebe is obsessed with it. He is obsessed with realty. 302-864-8643. 302-864-8643. That is his cell. You can call him or text him. He can take care of you at the Delaware beaches. That is his expertise. His team, which is based out of Long and Foster in Bethany Beach, covers every square inch of Delaware, every square inch of Maryland as well. So if you want to buy in like Wilmington, Newcastle County, or buy a shore house, much cheaper than in the Jersey Shore, much lower property taxes than the Jersey Shore, Ksebe is your guy. But if you're buying Jersey, PA, or anywhere else, he's going to take the time to find you a realtor. That's what he did for me. That's what he can do for you. And if you want to sell your house, same thing. It is a crazy time to buy a house. I know it. I just did it. Mike knows it. He just did it. You need a great realtor, and Adam Ksebe is your guy. 302-864-8643 or email adam@processrealtor.com. That is Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of The Process. All right, so game one ends, and there are a few Raptor players who are injured, and there's a big, free throw disparity. And I didn't notice it until today. I guess I wasn't paying attention, but there was just like a big crybaby fest from Raptors fans about that Embiid is dirty or something, and that the free throw shooting is unfair, and wah. I understand Nick Nurse has to do it. He's just scheming. That's what coaches have done forever. But this is not a new, Mike, you can attest to this. This is not a new theory from me. When you're crying about the refs because you lost by 20, it is loser shit. You didn't lose because of the referees. Joel Embiid's not trying to hurt you. He's not Charles Oakley. It's lame loser shit. Find other stuff to complain about other than the refs and dirty players and all that kind of stuff. The Sixers are not dirty. The refs fucking hate the Sixers. The league cannot stand the Sixers. I can promise you. They're not trying to help Daryl Morey, who cost the league like $1 billion, and fucking Joel Embiid, who represents an entire form of team building that they got a general manager fired for. And James Harden, I can promise you, they're not like favoring them. Stop crying about referees. Sixers fans, stop crying about referees. The referees are terrible both ways. They don't have any favorites,
Yes, they're terrible both ways. Yeah. But I think
Embiid's not.
Embiid's getting fouled. They're sending several bodies at him, and he's getting fouled. And occasionally, if they're smaller bodies, when he spins, sometimes an elbow is going to hit somebody in the face. Happens. It's basketball.
Yeah.
Embiid got whacked in the face. It happens. Do you want to move on? I want to talk about. Well, I was going to say Tobias, but we have to go back to B-ball Paul. We have to do it. We have to commit to ourselves, commit to the people that we are, and the win that we've gotten.
Yep.
Because 11 playoff minutes for B-ball Paul and plus 12 in the first half, minus 4 in the second half. That's totally fine. That's a plus 8. He had 0 points. He got fouled a couple of times. He fucking should have gotten a nice little layup. I want to get B-ball Paul some points, but he played great, contested, didn't foul too much. Like huge contest on Siakam when he was hot and kind of beating everybody, including George Niang, who we mentioned.
It's not that hard, Doc. It hasn't been this complicated.
It wasn't that hard. It was never that hard. And like I can feel as B-ball Paul like continues to play solid basketball, able to switch onto the perimeter, had a nice little drive and kick for an open 3, which is really cool to see that like him like feeling himself a little bit. I'm sure Doc got a little bit scared there, but there's a groundswell of people that want to be like, well, maybe Doc didn't want people to see him, and this was a secret weapon thing situation going. I just want to look, and I empathize with that feeling and wanting to feel that way. This was not a secret weapon thing. This was Doc wanting to play his friend DeAndre Jordan because they remember similar things from the late 90s. Like there's just nothing else about DeAndre Jordan as a basketball player in 2022 where he ever deserved to play over B-ball Paul. There's not a player in the league, not a matchup in the league. Doesn't this big 5 situation, this say it for me slowly, Doc. It doesn't matter. You're lying. You were always lying. You were wrong then. You're still kind of wrong now, even if you're thinking like, oh, maybe Brooke Lopez or maybe Clint Capella or something. Maybe that would be a big 5. No, absolutely not. You're absolutely full of shit. He's the better player now. He's been the better player for several months. And we take this win. I don't even think that like Doc has coached a good series so far, and I want to give him credit for that. But the B-ball Paul thing is he shouldn't have been able to get his 100th win to move into 4th all time. Like he should be docked like half a win because of how he's been so reluctant to play the clearly better player that gives his team a better chance to win. That's malpractice, and he was doing malpractice. And you can go from like I'm not a doctor, but like you can probably go from like I'm doing some malpractice and then like I do some good surgeries again. And that's what Doc's doing. That's what he's doing. He was doing malpractice before, and now he's doing like pretty good surgeries. And that's fine, but he still did malpractice.
Just to put it in perspective, we're talking about a guy that got 0 regular rotation minutes during the season for the Sixers.
There was like a 2-week stretch where he was.
Okay.
I think when Embiid was out, there was there was the Bassey stretch, and then there was the B-ball Paul stretch a little bit. But yes, not consistently.
For all intents and purposes, he played 302 minutes the entire season. Yeah. There are 82 games, right? So that's like 3.5 minutes a game. And now he is the primary backup for Joel Embiid in the playoffs. He did it because you called him a dickhead.
He is a dickhead. I think he knows he's a dickhead.
He knows. That's part of his bit.
He has to know he's a dickhead.
And I said, I offered, and I'm making this offer because I know some of the beat writers, not all of them, but some of them listen to the Ricky. I am offering $100, and I had 2 other people, and I know actually I will commit because I know some listeners who will commit money. I'm committing $1,000 to a Sixers beat writer to ask Doc Rivers in a post-game press conference if it's time for the Paul Reed victory tour yet. I need you to ask him slowly if it's time for the Paul Reed victory tour.
Yeah, you can do it slowly.
Yeah. When was the last time a Sixers center in a playoff game was plus anything for a fucking game?
Yeah. It was only Derek Bodner was tweeting about it during the game. Like,
okay.
During those games that Embiid has missed in previous playoffs, there were a couple times that they were, but
okay.
I mean, it's hard to fathom. It's hard to fathom how important the backup center position has been for the Sixers. And aside from spending, a quarter of the payroll on Al Horford, they just have not committed to it. And now that it's working and is a strength, and obviously part of that is because Maxey has been great. And obviously part of that has been because Harden opens things up on the court where they don't just drown without Embiid out there. And that's part of the idea, 100%. But B-Ball Paul on the defensive end and athletically on the offensive end with like rebounding and setting screens and rolling hard, all that stuff, creating an option. Harden had a floater one time, which should have been a lob to B-Ball Paul. It's fine. I'm just like, he deserves more points than he's getting, and that's okay. It's just been, you can't overestimate. We're talking about him second. You can't overestimate how big of a deal it is that B-Ball Paul finished 2 games in a row as a positive on the court. That is unheard of, and that is huge. And if this continues, we are going to win not only the championship, but like a super championship. They're going to like then jump off and beat a EuroLeague team or something, whatever it takes, because this is unprecedented. Embiid has never had this kind of playoff support behind him.
So did you want to do Tobias next? Because I wanted to, I was leaning toward Maxey, but if you want to do Tobias, you go ahead and do Tobias.
You brought up Danny before. Let's just say it. Like Danny, man, like
he's been huge, and he's had a little bit of giddy up defensively too. Like I feel like he had somebody gave him a shot in the ass or something, or a caffeine drink or something,
Yeah, I mean, that's look, we talked about last podcast. He didn't shoot well. He didn't play that great last game, but the fact that he's out there is huge for the offensive, the starters and the closing unit, because you have to account for him. And he had a couple shots early in this game. He had three threes in the first half. His D on OG Anunoby was great. I thought we'll talk about it when we talk to Maxey, but it was a 20-2 run. And even when Maxey hit that shot, it was still like a little uneasy. And then Danny gets the dunk of the year, I'll say, which single-handedly not only saved the game, the game was probably going to be in hand, but the vibes of this game were 100% saved by Danny on that dunk. And I think he felt it. I think that was a veteran, I'm going to dunk this so that everybody feels good move. Because if he just had a layup, whatever, it'd be like, okay, we won, but I didn't really feel good about that play. And he got the bench up, he got the crowd up. It's always really fun to see George Niang checking his knees to see if there's any explosives in there or something, people pushing him around. Is really funny. Good for Danny. That was, I saw people tweeting at the Ricky account, definitely did not have a dump in his pants on that dunk. That kicked
super ass, diaper.
Really excited. I love the random guy dunking. It's such a nice thing. And for a momentum shift and a vibe shift, it was huge. And then he had the dunk on, or the block on Van Vliet at the end to end it. That just felt great. He played great tonight defensively, huge. And you feel way better about going to Toronto without Matisse, with Danny playing as well as he is. He's
been a starter on 3 championship teams. That's
even
all.
At age 94, he was on the Titanic. He defended his ass off on the Titanic. God bless him. We'll take it. Win another one, Danny.
Yeah, and continue to say his. I know sometimes he'll shoot one that will drive you crazy, but his willingness to shoot whenever he touches the ball, having him and Niang got fucking obliterated defensively tonight, and the Raptors decided to do it, and they did it. They did it for a little while to Harden too. It felt like they were picking on Harden as well.
Well, that's their whole offense though. Like that's the thing, is that like they just didn't have, like, they started exploiting it, and then they go like, well, Van Vliet's like really tired. He didn't sit the entire game. The beginning, or at least for the first like 2.5 quarters or something. The beginning, he was like, the shooting opened up blow-bys for Van Vliet, and then he just like got gassed and cooled off. And Joel at one point, even with the ankle, like locked him up on the perimeter. I thought that was huge. But yeah, I mean, you pointed that out. Like, they were definitely targeting Niang. They were definitely targeting Harden. I think Harden had a couple places where he wasn't moving his feet and then locked up. We'll talk about that in a second. But they went after mismatches because they don't have any offensive flow, and it worked for a little bit, and then it stopped. Doc took Niang out of the game. He only played 9 minutes. That's the fewest minutes that he's played in probably a really long time, and also the fewest minutes of anybody on the court tonight for the Sixers. So it's a nice adjustment. Nice to see that adjustment. But if they, I've always been like a Niang's a solid defender, and you've never really believed it. He definitely got exposed tonight, and I wonder like how he adjusts going forward, because I do think he's a helpful like big four type body that they need just for meat. But it was like clearly like this is all they have. This is all they can do, and then it went away, and then their offense stalled again.
I mean, we'll deal with it we'll cross this bridge when we come to it. But the other teams that they will face in the playoffs will have more players that can do that to Niang than the Raptors will too.
Kinda. I mean, Anunoby is that. I think if Scotty was there, he'd be that. Pascal beat a bunch of guys. They do have a bunch of like, not only like if guys are smaller, then he can at least be physical with them. But these guys are his size or bigger and also faster. So that's the tough combination.
Tobias,
man.
Unbelievable. You said it last pod. The first, and I remember saying it when it was happening, the first 2 weeks of the Harden experience.
Horrendous.
All I remember saying was, well, this is not going to work with Tobias. Like, he'll be here the rest of the year, obviously, but he can't be here. He's not. And he's turned it on, man. I like every time over the last 2 years where you've said, well, he's making quicker decisions, I've always thought it was like, no, he's not. He's not making quicker decisions. Yeah. But he has done it for a solid like 5 weeks now. Yeah. And there was one time when it was Toby time. And
I think it was because like they got up enough where they're like, all right, Embiid's ankle hurts. Go out there, go pretend to be Carmelo. Get in the mid range, have a good time. Like, you earned it. Good stuff, man. So he did a little bit of that, threw him a bone, but he was a game high 23. He's really truly Danny level catch and shoot, letting it fly from the corner. Mm-hmm. He's not going to shoot it with guys like so much in his face the way Danny does, but he's got a quick release there. He makes his decisions quickly. He's driving and kicking. He had a nice little soft touch off the glass floater. Just like rebounded hard, I thought. The Raptors got a decent amount of offensive rebounds. They were a little bit better on that end than in game one, but I think it's mostly because of just like weird caroms and stuff. And also they missed a lot of shots. So there's going to be more opportunities for that. I didn't think the Sixers rebounding was bad by any means. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And I thought Tobias was a big part of that, 10 rebounds. 7 of 11 from the field, 3 for 3 from deep. Would like to see a few more threes, but 20 and 10 from Tobias, 3 blocks. Like, just he played really well defensively. He still's not bending over, as AU pointed out online. He will never bend over for a ball. There are several opportunities for him to do so. He just doesn't do it. Guy doesn't
One
bend over.
particular loose ball, I think AU was talking about tonight.
Has never been over for a loose ball in his life. I've been ringing that alarm for a long time. Would love if anybody would ask him about that. How does it feel? Can you just bend over for us now? Like, let's see what you got. Like, just stand up on the podium and just, what does it look like when you bend over? No one's ever seen it. But he even jumped a passing lane at one point. He didn't get it, but he jumped the passing lane and like got his hands on the ball and sent the Raptors back a little bit. I thought it was a great Tobias game. I'm so happy and proud for Tobias. I hope there's a natural like Toby chant in the playoffs for Tobias, because like he earned it. He's had to hear so many like Harden, Embiid, MVP, Maxey, B-ball Paul, like so many things.
There's really, it's gonna have to be so. Like, he's really gonna have to go off to get a Toby chant.
Yeah. Maybe like an 8-0 run, like at a critical time where he's at the line or something. Like it's gonna take a lot. But if anybody's going to the game and it feels like the right time,
start it,
and he's still doing his thing, I would appreciate for him, because I've taken away a lot of Tobias's money. We've known this. I accused him of having COVID and having it mess with his brain. I've been hard on Tobias. I've been hard on the guy. I think he's earned it a lot of the time. But I've also, as you said, I've always complimented his defense, even when it wasn't great. This year it wasn't as good until they got Harden, because he felt like he had to take on more of a role offensively, and he's just been rock solid for like a long time now. And I wonder how he feels about being in this role. I wonder if he likes it or not. I got a feeling he doesn't, but he's doing his job, and that's totally fine. So we have to call it Tobias, and if there's a natural place for Toby Chant, guy earns it. Let's give him a pat on the butt. Let him cash his checks. God bless that dude.
We will talk about the Tyrese Maxey and reveal a CJ video with a guest star that just really turned my day upside down. Right after we talk about Big Barker. 2 days ago was Rebel's birthday. We celebrate Rebel's birthday in my house. He turned 8 years old. We have a party. We get him a cake. We take him on extra long walks. It was great. And one of the ways that we keep Rebel healthy throughout the year, we let him be a little unhealthy on his birthday. One of the ways we keep him healthy throughout the year is with a Big Barker therapeutic dog bed, the only real dog bed on the market. BigBarker.com/Ricky. That's where I want you to go. You get your Big Barker dog bed with the processed pup patches. You take a picture of your dog on the Big Barker dog bed with the processed pup patches. We put them on our Instagram and on the website. Here's the thing. Is that what I want you to do is think about the bed that you have for your dog. Maybe you got it at the pet store, maybe you bought it off Instagram or something. Look fluffy, right? Look like a pillow. You wouldn't want to sleep on a pillow because it doesn't support you. Go ahead, press on that dog bed. Push on it. It's just like, it's too soft. That's not what your dog should be sleeping on. Should be sleeping on a supportive mattress. When Eric started Big Barker, he was like, they don't make beds that are good enough for dogs. So they get engineers come in, or experts come in, they engineer the bed, and it's like, just look at the pictures. You can see the support that the mattress gives the dog. It is a real bed, a real mattress, supported by a study at Penn Vet that says it actually improves the dog's quality of life, joint function, and as they age, they develop arthritis. Beds like this will make sure that your dog is happier and healthier. I'm telling you, if you love your dog, you'll get him a Big Barker. Is it expensive? It's a couple $100. But think about how many shitty dog beds you're going to get in your dog's like 12 or 15 years of life. This one has a 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten, or they replace it for free. It keeps your dog happy and healthy, which is invaluable. A 1-year at-home trial. 1 year. If you don't like it, if your dog doesn't like it, they'll give you a full refund. They'll even pay for the shipping. I say it's expensive. It's not expensive when you just fucking spread it out over the cost of your dog's life. And as I said, your dog's happiness and health you can't put a price on it. Handmade in the USA, Big Barker dog beds.
Woo!
Maxey scores 0 points in the first quarter. He has had a couple of spots through his run where, in games or halves where you're like, he's not involved at all. But to his defense, he's got James Harden and Joel Embiid on the team. And there's not always the shots are not always going to be evenly distributed. And it seems like he just when he picks his spot, when he feels like it's time to go and he just explodes, the other team is caught backing up, flat-footed. They're not ready for it, especially with as slow and sort of deliberate as everything else the Sixers do is. Harden is slow and Embiid is slow. And then all of a sudden, mid-second quarter, who the fuck is this guy running 100 miles an hour, hitting step-back threes? It's Maxey. I thought in a lot of ways he changed the game. His quick 6-point run in the second quarter changed the game. I think.
Man. I do this every podcast. He's the best. I can't believe how good he is. So fast. He can turn the corner on anybody. Anybody. Would love to see a Marcus Smart go at him at some point. I wonder how quickly he moves it. But Maxey is just so fast and so skilled at eluding the contact. Man, he's just the best. They need him to keep doing that. He deferred too much too early. I didn't like it. I understand he's playing with good players, but he needs to do that. He's that good. He can't be just deferring, especially to do ISOs. I would so much rather have Maxey ISO than Harden. It's not close.
Oh, a million times over.
Yeah. So he's just glory, so many cool finishes around the rim with the left, like around Precious Achiuwa, who is very good. Still a little scattered, but definitely going to be good. A couple like gorgeous floaters that he really did. Like, look, we were doing the Doc Rivers thing of like up big, like, can you sit Joel? I don't know. We did it in game 1, and it was like maybe we held on a little too long. I don't know. We were trying to do it, but this is Doc Rivers' team. He gives up leads. You can't ever assume it's over. A 20-2 run is insane. I'm so tired of the prevent offense. Like I don't. That's probably a Harden thing and an Embiid thing. That's why I'd give the ball to Maxey in those situations and just let him like do his thing. Even if he runs clock, like you don't have to run that much clock in like, with 6 minutes left in the game, you got to keep scoring. But when like Anunoby turned the ball over, Tobias refused to pick it up. Maxey picked it up finally and then hit that 3. That was a huge play, like to take the momentum back. There was also a moment where he drew a carry on Siakam by jumping a passing lane. I thought his defense was really, really good. There's times when he'll get switched on to Siakam or Anunoby. He can't do anything about it. It's like, that's just going to happen. And he's going to get stronger and be able to like be more physically, sturdy on that end, but gets his hands in there. He hasn't been biting on stuff as much as usual. Like, I mean, come on, he's a second-year player. He's plus 22, 8 of 11 from the field for 23 points, 3 of 6 from 3, 9 rebounds. That might be a high or close to a season high for him. 8 assists. Like
Maxey had 9 rebounds.
9 rebounds, yeah.
Wow.
He pushed like those kinds of things with Harden and Maxey. We haven't talked about Harden really yet, but when Harden pushing in transition, Maxey pushing in transition is such a threat. Maxey for his speed, Harden for his passing, because it helps to keep Toronto off the offensive glass. And there were a couple of those times when, Anunoby, Siakam, whoever will go for a rebound, and then all of a sudden, like Harden gets it, and it's like it's gone, and that is preventative from Toronto doing something that they're very good at, and that's huge. So, I love this kid. I can't say enough about him. He is really, we've been saying this for a long time, but like the most beloved guard.
Yeah.
There's a different feeling than a guard and a big man. The crowd reacts to it differently. It's just a different vibe since Iverson. And it's like, it's a different time period. It's a different thing, but like, and I think the gap of how long from Iverson to Maxey, Sixers fans were starved for that kind of player. And for it to be this guy who's like, it's kind of unexpected, even though he was like a huge recruit, fell to 21, for it to be him so fast, and he's so delightful. There was a quote. Wait, I want to say it. I'm talking about Danny. Newbeck and Hoffman tweeted it, but Tyrese Maxey on Danny Green's dunk. I think we were all sort of praying that he was okay. Come on, man. He's the best. He's incredible. I love him. I love him so much, and just like not a guy that's afraid of the moment at all. I would like him to get more opportunities because I think he's that good. I understand deferring, but like they need him. He's like he should be more of the guy than he is. And I get
he will
he's
be
with, but like
he will be.
He could be. Yeah.
He will be. Sixers open up as 2-point favorites in Toronto, which is Wednesday night. First tip at 2-point favorites at DraftKings Sportsbook at 8:07. Harden. I know after the season is going to be an interesting conversation. He's fine doing what he's doing at this moment, and he's not. He forced it less, I felt like, this game than the last game, but I just thank God for Maxey is kind of where I'm at. I just like. This guy, you can't be a $45 or $50 million player and just like fucking be what he is. Like I guess I don't want to do this now, but I just keep waiting for this game where he just busts somebody's ass, and he's never going to do it. He's just never
maybe. I mean, I think I think
in
like
I don't want to dwell on it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just don't want to bullshit about it.
For sure. I just think like, yes. Is he that? He's not that guy anymore. We do this every time. He's not that guy anymore. I think we could still get that game in the right matchup. This is not the right matchup for him to do that kind of thing. I think if Atlanta comes away with it, I think he would be incredibly big in that series. But the attention that he gets, you can't say it enough. The attention that he gets allows them to get easy looks. The Sixers are shooting. I should have saved it, but in game 1 they shot like, I think it was like 11 of 14 on passes from James Harden in game 1, and I bet it was similarly very good in game 2. Or at least like if it wasn't the first pass, then it was the second pass. Like,
but you know who we said this shit about, man?
No, he's better than Ben. He's so much better than Ben.
I know he is, but it's just like the same excuse making stuff. He's a great passer, of course. I'm just like, I just thank God for Maxey.
I'm not saying like, yes, you have to max him, give him the longest contract you possibly could. Like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm not a little concerned about it and concerned about the burst and seeing how it's going to age. And I do think he played a little bit more within the offense this game and there was like a couple grifting fouls that he didn't get. Toronto's just long. They're a long, tough matchup for him, and he's not that guy anymore. I will say, like, again, like his defense has been incredible. Like there were like a couple possessions where they went after him and he didn't slide his feet, but he had 3 steals and 2 blocks in this game. On ball, off ball, makes plays happen. Like he's been a really, really good defender in his time here. And that is obviously unexpected. And who knows how long it'll last and everything. But like he's certainly far from a liability. Even if they went at him a couple times, like he's been great. 3 steals and 2 blocks. Like he's a plus 17. Like he just rules, man. He's just like he helps them win games. And I totally get why you're right now being like, I don't know about giving that contract, but they're winning games because of him, in large part because of him. And I
can just imagine the press release announcing that like the 5-year, $250 million. He's not a liability.
He isn't. Well, but for a long time he was. Yeah. And so I don't think this is like who he's going to be defensively for the rest of his career, but when it counts, like he knows he's not as good of an offensive player he is right now, so he's competing more on the defensive end, I think. But I don't know. It's a conversation we can have going in later on, but right now, like they're winning games. He's a plus 17. He's helping them be a positive in the minutes that Joel's off the floor. I'm happy with it.
Could we get to this video, or do you have anything else? I feel like we've talked about every player who played tonight.
Couple things. Let me just run through a couple more things. Yep. I did think it was interesting that they went Malachi minutes he played 21 minutes. He was a plus 8, but I didn't think he impacted the game at all.
No, he was
just like not. Did not feel like small a plus and not as explosive. I think he's going to be a very solid player, and he's a good shooter. But like he just didn't seem like he fits in this series right now. But they tried to because they don't really have many other options, especially with Gary Trent. Like he played the first half, really didn't look like himself at all. Was clearly struggling. So we'll see if they're, if they bounce back. If it's ever going to happen, I don't that Scottie injury looked tough. Like I'd be surprised if he comes back in game 3.
I'd be shocked.
If he does come back, like then that this would be the best chance that Toronto has to win a game, to like have the momentum of like being at home and everything. But it'd be really nice if they just fucking suck the life out of him right here.
Yeah.
Quick thing on Matisse. We talked about it last podcast. Him hitting that shot in the corner was big because in a playoff series, like when you play the same team every time, you don't want to get beat by the same thing multiple times. So there was a time when they swing the ball to Matisse. Anunoby, who's a great defender, heady defender, runs at him like hard to contest. Matisse pump fake, he bites on it. And how often have you seen a Matisse get anybody up in the air in a pump fake? So it was huge that he hit one last game because then he pump fake, drove a little bit, and then kicked it out to Niang for a 3. And Matisse hit another 3 tonight, which is great. I thought his defense was really, really good tonight. Didn't defend it without fouling pretty much. I'm really bummed that he's not going to play in Toronto. I think he's a really helpful player. Danny's been great. Absolutely. But they start to, especially when you see like Niang not play as well, they start to get pretty thin. But yeah. I thought Shake was good tonight too. Hit a nice shot, played helpful defense, gets his hands in there. Helpful as just like a ball handler, like a safety valve type thing. I thought that was really nice. I also just don't, generally speaking, there's occasionally times when they overhelp too much. Like the Raptors just don't have that many great one-on-one players. Like Siakam can do things against the right matchup, not really against Embiid, especially if Embiid's like on. I would like them to play straight up more because they get their catch and shoot threes off of the Sixers overhelping when they kind of don't need to all the time. Not that they can't. I'm not like disrespecting them. Like there's some good players. VanVleet's a good player, but like they're not going to beat that many guys off the dribble one-on-one. And so I would like to like stay home a little bit more. That's also my like prevailing basketball philosophy is like try not to double, but I would like to do it, especially less in this series.
So,
and I just want to say, Don Staley ringing the bell, that kicks ass.
Yes. Well,
Gus Johnson calling the game, that kicks ass.
Yeah, everything is so outrageous for him. He's like, it was Greg Anthony doing color, right?
Yeah.
He was like, Greg, tell me why James Harden is such an amazing basketball player.
Well, that was during the time of the game when it was like they're up 22, and he's like, let me see what I can talk about, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think he watches like a ton of NBA basketball. Gus.
No, I don't think so.
He didn't quite didn't seem like, but like just as a calling the game and not trying to do too much, he's just like a really pleasing on the mic. And we didn't talk about it, but I love Ryan Rocco, who was on the mic in game 1. So it's been good announce crews for me so far.
I think Greg Anthony is always a pretty insightful color guy too. I like Greg Anthony. He's former Knick, love him from my era, but love him. So a video popped up online today. CJ, come to the forefront. Video popped up online today. And if you're listening to the pod, this is a time where you got to go to Spotify or YouTube to watch the video. And not only the video amazing, but we find out later there's someone in the video that has deep Ricky roots. And the way that this person framed how they were looking at CJ in the video and the way it looked like to me, it was very, very different. CJ, could you just play the video without any commentary, and then we'll ask you about it?
Surely.
Okay.
Surely.
There we go.
Really tells you what era it's in. It's like dancing feeling good, and then like the transition into awkward dancing so quickly of like, I don't feel super comfortable in my skin right now. I'm noticing that a lot of girls are looking at me. I am on a stage, so let me just sort of like slow it down a little bit, kind of walk in the background. And that's that.
My favorite. So it's a video of CJ dancing from 2016, and you're in high school at this point. How old are you at this point?
17.
17 years old. And what event is this?
Yeah, so this is I think it was some tournament for NJDFL. Those unfamiliar it's like competitive drama in high school, and like different schools compete against each other. And then at the end of every event, normally when like judges are tallying their votes, they have like a little dance on the stage. And this was that. This was that.
It's so good. So he does now. This thing was big for a minute. What was this thing?
It was a weak dab.
Dab.
Yeah.
Right. So
a weak dab.
So
the classification of the dab.
So somebody points out when we post the video, but that girl from the left on the left is checking CJ out.
So I thought actually. So I actually.
Are you think? Was I thinking about a different girl? Because I'm thinking that one right there.
Yeah. So I had a crush on this girl.
And we're calling it out now.
And she's looking at me, and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta look away. Like I don't want to like look at her.
Someone just looks at someone because they're doing something. It doesn't. Not every look is like. I've looked at people. I look at people all the time, and I'm not just like checking all of them.
Yeah, but when you're in high school, it's the only thing that exists a lot. You know, when you look, it's the only thing that you think exists. If someone was dancing
like that, it wouldn't matter what they looked like visually to me. I'd be like, what's going on? Let me take a look at this.
But there's the look. Hold on.
Yeah.
So let it go for a little bit. Hold on.
She looks away.
All right, right there. Yeah. So look to our left to see it's CJ's left as well. There is a girl right there in a blue shirt looking at CJ. Now, to me, this is somebody who is like, wow, check out the smooth moves of that fella over there. As it turns out, that person tweets us later, that is Missy Pavorsky.
Unbelievable.
There it is. And
Missy... LL's daughter.
Yep.
Jake's sister. By the way, again, I think that's just a regular look. I'm looking at some commotion over there to protect Missy. I don't believe it. Missy also who babysat or babysits, I don't know, my niece, which is also fun. This is a very South Jersey is very well representative among the Ricky contingent.
So I'm told that that she is out of the country right now, but still. Now, what did she say? LMAO. That would be me right there. Absolutely judging the fuck out of this guy.
Judging and looking
That's
are very similar looks with eyes.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I didn't know this was her before she
Tweeted?
responded to this. Yeah.
Oh, this is so good. What are the odds?
She was a freshman, I believe, and I was a senior. So
I just want to see like Kornblau walking by, like chaperoning or something.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. What a moment. Why is Missy Pavorsky in that dancing video? It's so good. Look at it. Oh my God.
Can you imagine if the Sixers lost and how pissed off I'd be to be talking about this?
Me too.
I know.
DJ dancing, they fucking blew a big lead.
That's why we needed a win.
I was looking for another video that my friend posted, and I came across this, and was like, "Holy shit! I forgot this happened." And then somehow, Spike saw it, I guess, and then
Yep. Nothing's gonna get by me. And by the way, this video from 2016, which probably had 82 views, but now has 12,000. As CJ, just the khakis. And wait, last thing, the arms at the very end is.
I think that was a Lil Dicky thing, actually. I think in a lot of his videos, he was like
hold on,
doing that.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's mostly like you realize some people were looking at you, and then you're just like, I'm gonna minimize this a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me cool this down.
Also, a lot of people in the chat were asking about why I'm not wearing a tank top again after game one.
Yeah.
It's because I'm wearing
your playoff motherfucker shirt came.
right.
I'm a playoff motherfucker tonight.
I saw a couple people post them at the game, and mine has not come yet. I'm sort of disappointed. It's my podcast. Why don't I buy my shirt here yet? So we'll be back. Sixers go up 2-0, and Nick Nurse, I guess, will find some other way to something else to cry about, and Raptors fans find something else to cry about. But game 3 will be a tough one. That'll be the one. If the Raptors are going to turn it around, it'll certainly be in that one. So.
Yeah, and I don't. There's asshole, stupid idiot fans in every place. So I'm not. I don't think this is a prevailing thing among Raptors fans. Like I would be. There. Part of the fun of an NBA playoff series is viscerally hating any number of players or coaches on the other team and thinking some of the worst things possible. Like Justice Winslow stepped on Embiid's mask, and I'm still furious about it. It's pretty cool. It was a cool move objectively, but if I saw Justice, I would be like, hey man, not cool. I'm mad about it still. And
the Embiid dirty stuff, really, there are dirty players in the NBA. He's not one of them.
He's just really fucking big and strong.
Yeah.
And you're sending several guys at him. So yeah, occasionally if you just like are pelting me with 6'8" thin wings, they're gonna get pushed around a little bit. So I think it's honestly fine. And Nobi shot 10 of 14 from the field tonight. That is surprising to me. I didn't feel that way. It felt like he was a little out of sorts, but he did a couple open shots. So they just got to keep handling business. Like Toronto is like they're weak physically right now. They seem a little weak mentally. How did Siakam not get thrown out of the game, by the way? Because he had the double technical with Embiid.
Oh yeah.
And then he got teed up later, and I wasn't sure if they like rescinded one of them or whatever. But like,
I don't know.
I that was something people were asking on Twitter, and I also felt that. So weird. Look, there's a playoff. We're mucking it up. Let's win this in 4 or 5, and watch Trae Young try to extend that series a little bit. That sounds good to me.
We'll be back Wednesday night. Are you done with TTP?
Yes. Lick face.